There is a place in India where a mountain was split in half, not by modern machines, not by a construction company, but by the hands of a single man. Seems impossible, doesn't it? But it really happened. The story I'm going to share with you today changed the lives of thousands of people and proves that when we have a purpose strong enough, nothing can stop us. It's about a simple man, poor, without education, who made the impossible happen. Get ready, because this story is going to move you. It was the year 1959. In the small village of Gehlar in Bihar, one of the poorest regions of India, there lived Dashrath Manjhi, a humble worker who made his living breaking stones. He had a wife named Falguni, and the two lived a simple but happy life. One day, Falguni was bringing food to her husband, who was working on the other side of the mountain. To reach him, she needed to travel a dangerous path over the rocks, and it was on that day that everything changed. Falguni slipped. She fell from the rocks and was seriously injured. The villagers rushed to help, but the nearest hospital was on the other side of the mountain. To get there, they needed to make a giant detour of 70 kilometers. 70 kilometers! When they finally managed to take Falguni to the hospital, it was too late. She didn't survive her injuries. Dashrath was devastated. He didn't just lose his wife, he lost the love of his life because of a mountain. A mountain that separated his village from the rest of the world. A mountain that made it impossible to reach the hospital in time. And it was in that moment of deep pain that a purpose was born. While everyone in the village mourned and then returned to normal life, Dashrath made a decision that everyone thought was madness. He looked at that giant mountain and said, "I'm going to open a path through this mountain." People laughed at him. His own family members thought he had gone mad with grief. "How is one man alone going to cut through a mountain?" they said. "This is work for machines, for the government, not for a simple worker." But Dashrath wasn't interested in what others thought. He knew one thing: if he did nothing, other people would die like his wife died. Other families would suffer the same pain he was suffering. So, in 1960, at 32 years old, Dashrath Manjhi began to work. He took a hammer and a chisel, simple, basic tools, and began to strike the mountain. Day after day he struck the stones. Sun or rain, heat or cold, Dashrath was there, breaking the mountain piece by piece. At first, people from the village would come to see the crazy man hitting the mountain. They made jokes, laughed, said he was wasting his time. "In 20 lifetimes you won't succeed," they mocked. Dashrath didn't respond. He just kept striking. The years passed. 1 year, 2 years, 5 years. The mountain was still there, giant, imposing. But now there was something different, a small mark, a small hole that Dashrath had made. His family begged him to stop. "You're destroying your health for nothing," they said. But Dashrath continued. 10 years passed. Now people didn't laugh anymore. They saw a man who woke up before sunrise, worked all day breaking stones to survive, and then spent the rest of the day and night hitting the mountain. His hands were calloused, full of wounds, his clothes torn, his body bent from the effort. But his eyes shone with determination. He sold his goats, one by one, to buy new tools when the old ones broke. He went hungry to save money for stronger chisels. 15 years later, something began to change. The people of the village stopped laughing. Some began to help, bringing food, water. Young people came on weekends to help carry the broken stones. But Dashrath was still the one doing the heavy work. He alone, his mountain, his purpose. 22 years. 22 years striking the same mountain. It was 1982. Dashrath Manjhi was now 54 years old. And finally, he did the impossible. He had cut a passage through the mountain. A path 110 meters long, 9 meters wide, and 7 meters high. All done by hand. All done with a hammer and a chisel. The distance between Gehlar and the nearest medical center, which was previously 70 kilometers, was now only 1 kilometer. When the news spread, journalists came from all over India. How was it possible? How did one man alone do this? Dashrath answered simply, "I had a purpose. My wife died because the mountain was in the way. I couldn't let other people die too." The story of Dashrath Manjhi began to spread around the world. He who had been called crazy was now called a hero. He who had been ignored was now admired. They made films about him, wrote books, created statues. But you know what's most important? The path he opened saved thousands of lives. Pregnant women could reach the hospital in time. Sick people received treatment. Children could go to school. Dashrath didn't do this for fame. He did it because he had a purpose greater than himself. In 2007, he was diagnosed with cancer. This time, ironically, The same government that had ignored him for decades provided free treatment. But it was too late. Dashrath Manjhi died on August 17, 2007, at 73 years old. Thousands of people attended his funeral. The government of India gave him a state funeral, an honor normally reserved for presidents and war heroes. Why? Because Dashrath proved something we all need to hear. The story of Dashrath Manjhi teaches us powerful truths about life. First, when you have a true purpose, you find strength you didn't know existed. Dashrath wasn't strong by nature. He was an ordinary man, but his purpose made him extraordinary. Second, what seems impossible today can be reality tomorrow. Everyone said cutting the mountain was impossible, but he proved that there is no impossible for those who don't give up. Third, you don't need to be rich, famous, or powerful to make a difference. Dashrath was poor, without education, without resources. But he had something more important: determination and a heart full of purpose. Fourth, it doesn't matter how many people doubt you. There will be people who will laugh, who will call you crazy, who will tell you to give up. But if your purpose is true, continue. Time will prove you were right. Fifth, sometimes our greatest pain can transform into our greatest purpose. Dashrath lost his wife tragically. He could have drowned in sadness. But he transformed that pain into motivation to help thousands of other people. Today, when you pass through the village of Gelar, you can see the path he opened. People call it Dashrath Ki Sadak, Dashrath's road. And every person who passes through there, every life that was saved by reaching the hospital in time, is a testament that a man with a purpose can move mountains. Literally. So, what is your purpose? What is your mountain? We all have one. It may not be a mountain of stone, but we all have something that seems impossible, something that seems too big to face. But if Dashrath could cut through a real mountain with just a hammer and a chisel, imagine what you can do with the resources you have today. The question is not, can I do it? The question is, what is my purpose? Because when you discover your true purpose, when you find that which is greater than yourself, nothing can stop you. Dashrath Manjhi wasn't special because he was strong. He was special because he didn't give up. He was special because he transformed his pain into action. He was special because he believed when no one else believed. And you can be special too. You can also do the impossible. You just need to start. Did this story touch your heart? Then I want to know, what is your mountain? What are you postponing because it seems too big, too difficult, too impossible? Write here in the comments what your big challenge is right now. It could be a dream you're afraid to pursue, a problem that seems to have no solution, or something you want to change but don't know where to start. Share with me, share with everyone here, because sometimes when we put our purpose into words, it gains strength. And who knows, maybe your story will inspire another person who is reading too. Let's create a chain of courage here in the comments. Write what your mountain is, and let's support each other to start breaking it down, one piece at a time, just like Dashrath did. I'm waiting for your answer.